What a very interesting matchup. I don't think anyone would have imagined he's doing an Electrode B all of a sudden becoming viable, but that Tantrum Blast attack for 0 energy. Yeah, that's not a misprint. The attack costs 0 energy. And then Clough is also a pretty powerful card. And there's a lot going on in this list with a lot of cards that we have yet to see, both old and new.
Yeah, talking about spicy seasoned curry.
Yeah.
Not just one of my favorite dishes, but also a powerful item card in this deck.
I feel like we're going to be very hungry after this match.
I'm hungry now. Looks like both of our players are set up.
Gardevoir, pretty standard Gardevoir. Does have the Screamtail, does have Mew EX, does have Jirachi, so all the different techs. No Sashen V, however, which could be an important thing to keep note of. Double Avery could come into play, and double Collapse Stadium as well, so a lot of bench control for the Gardevoir player. And with no mana fee over on Clough's side, because usually you're not fearing any Radiant Greninja play, but how about that Screamtail?
Yeah, Screamtail adds a whole new dynamic for this Gardevoir deck. We already saw Tord use it to great effect in round 2, and it has definitely taken Farleib all the way to 301. Both of our players are 301 here for this round 5, so undefeated, but did take a tie last round.
Still put a pretty good record, right? Still very much on track to make day 2 for this tournament, but it'll be very important to get a win here because another tie is probably not very useful to either player. Yes, we are about to get the action going. Let's head to the table in order to get this match started.
All right, we are having some technical issues, but we have a Radiant Greninja for Farleib here. Has a Battle VIP pass. We'll be able to find 2 Ralts. Looks like, oh no. A couple Ralts prized along with the Kirlia.
Yeah, a couple Ralts prized. Double checking what Hisuian Electrode V does. And now, thankfully, there's a Rest of Kirlia to hopefully help with the current pricing situation. However, I did not see it.
That was the one Kirlia prize.
That's the one Kirlia prize. All right.
This is worst case scenario for Farleib here.
Oh no, it's actually in the hand.
Oh, okay.
It's actually in the hand. Yeah, we haven't seen the prizes yet, so we're gonna see the concealed cards. Multiple energy available with that Focus on that other energy. Very important to get an attachment here because if the Radiant Greninja does not get KO'd for some reason next turn, you will need to attach to retreat it. Could happen now and sacrifice a Ralts. However, that's not going to happen. We're gonna lose out on the Greninja, but have a pretty powerful setup of multiple Kirlias next turn over on their side.
Yeah, no. Normally, when you see a turn like that, you kind of feel a little good if you're Douglas here, but it is a pretty powerful hand with that Mirage Step already there. And now here we see the Town Store Stadium able to search your deck for a tool, put it in your hand.
Yeah, we do feature the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Attaching that to the Brood Bonnet will allow Brood Bonnet to poison both active Pokemon, and Hisuian Electrode will be able to do extra damage thanks to that. We're also playing the Radiant Hisuian's Niffler, which makes poison deal 2 extra damage counters during Pokemon checkup, which will allow that bonus damage to really stack up.
All right, and we are back finally. So here we go. We didn't really miss too much. Just those Ralts on the bench for Farleib there. And there's that Town Store finding that Forest Seal Stone, able to attach it to the Hisuian Electrode V here and use Star Alchemy to get a card from the deck. Interesting to see what Douglas chooses.
I could see going for an Arven to find another tool card and a Battle VIP Pass. There is only one copy of Battle VIP Pass in this deck. Just multiple Nest Ball and multiple Ultra Ball. And you might be wondering, what does Clough have to do with Hisuian Electrode V. Well, both Pokemon will deal extra damage based on special conditions. Clough does 160 extra damage, and Electrode V does 100 times each special condition. Now, confusing your Electrode V usually not a great idea, because you will not be able to attack unless you flip heads. If you put your Hisuian Electrode V, you'll need the tool card that allows it to attack whilst being asleep. But dealing 230 damage for no energy, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's very good, especially because, honestly, going second seems like the best thing for this deck, just being able to take knockouts right away. And there we see, just like you said, Arvin finds that capsule, and then Battle VIP Pass. Battle VIP Pass finds Brute Bonnet and Squawkabilly EX. And Brute Bonnet, with that Toxic Powder, like you were saying, can poison both actives with that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached. And now just missing the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler to really take the one-hit KO. But no, here's Escape Rope, going to force a Ralts to the active.
Indeed, and we're going to see Clough possibly attack. Still missing a double turbo. Could switch guard, yep, back into the Electrode. So all we need to find is the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to attach. Oh, it's already attached. Never mind. It's already there. So that Ralts is gone.
Eventually.
Eventually. We still have more to do. We still have an energy to attach. We found a Hisuian Heavy Ball to check our prices. Another Clough possibly could get benched. And this deck is very, very aggressive for sure.
Yeah, and after that Squawk and Seize, Douglas found the double turbo energy, attached it to the Clough on the bench. And that's the real benefit of having a free attack that takes a bunch of knockouts early, is you can start setting up your Cloughs just on the bench, ready to go.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw Hisuian Electrode take down this Pokemon thanks to Brute Bonnet. That's what Clough will want to do as well, with those special conditions dealing that massive, massive damage. And up to a very perfect start for Douglas, being one prize card up.
But this is where Farleib wants to be. You have that Ralts in the active spot with that Mirage Step Kirlia in hand, 3 Kirlia in the deck already. So looking like a pretty good setup here. It's just, can you avoid the constant pressure of this Brute Bonnet and Hisuian Electrode?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a Gardevoir player, you always factor in the fact that you're going to start behind, right? 1 or 2 prizes usually, and then you try to take down multiple prize Pokemon with your very powerful attackers in order to compensate for that. So this is where Douglas will maybe regret a little bit benching that Squawkabilly EX. Did need it, I guess, to finalize their setup, but 2 prizes from Electrode V, 2 prizes from Squawkabilly EX could get a little bit dicey, but utilizing Clough EX Clough as much as possible, not Clough EX, that card is not good. Clough will be the main attacker, should be a main attacker, and try to force the most, or the most difficult response from Farleib.
Oh, whoa. All right. Farleib almost rare candied the active Ralts, but you need to Mirage Step this turn. Having those Ralts prized means this is the only way you can really play the game here. And we'll get out 3 Refinement Kirlia from the deck and play them right on your bench. Such a powerful attack.
Such a powerful attack, reminiscent of the Frogadier, right? With a water duplicate attack. Pretty cool to see. I love that Greninja, and I'm really happy to see Kirlia used to this potential. At first, no one was using this Mirage Step Kirlia. It was available from day 1 for Gardevoir, and no one was using it. And now I can't fathom myself not using the Kirlia.
Yeah, exactly. It makes such a big difference in decks that play multiple prize Pokemon, just because Gardevoir is really able to play a really great single prize game. Here we do see an Ultra Ball, discard Arvin, and then another card to get that B-Barrel. Has the ability Industrious Incisors, allowing you to draw up to 5 cards during your turn.
Indeed, and this Hisuian Electrode V is poisoned. Doesn't really mind that too much. Will be able to take another prize card thanks to Brute Bonnet's poison, and will be up 2 prizes, which is pretty standard, right? That's why You want to go second, get that early aggression, and it's going to be up to Farleib to figure out a game plan to start getting back into this game.
Well, Iono is going to be a pretty big one here. There was a ton of Gardevoir in Farlei's hand to where now they're going to the bottom of the deck. Thankfully, a deck like Gardevoir does have a lot of shuffle outs. Fog Crystal, Level Ball, Ultra Ball.
Indeed. Even Douglas's own stadium could help Farleib just shuffle up the deck, make sure that those Guardies do not stay at the bottom before we start using that refinement. And even though you're 2 prizes down, I think if you're Farleib, you're feeling pretty good. You have energy in your hand to utilize concealed cards, and you have triple refinement. So you're going to see at least 9 new cards your top deck and 8 more from the Pokemon on your bench. So a very powerful turn coming up here for Farleib.
With that Town Store, shuffles the deck, grabs a tool. And there is the knockout on the Curlia. And wow, what a hand from Farleib here.
Indeed. Even putting back the Ralts and the Curlias, all great cards to have available and to establish. And I shuffle up apparently before drawing. I would have liked to see the thinning of at least the Ralts here before starting to draw with concealed cards, because if you draw the Ralts, you're not really going to benefit from that Fog Crystal too much. Having energy in the discard pile is not the biggest priority here, because that Hisuian Electrode does not have a lot of HP remaining at this point in time, but thinning properly with the Luxury Escape, and we're going to start with the concealed cards.
Rare Candy, Reversal Energy found. Those cards aren't really going to do too much with no Ralts in play here. Does find a Boss's Orders off the top with this refinement.
Also a Battle VIP Pass, great card to discard after your first turn. Essentially a free 2 cards at that point in time. Still no Gardevoirs, but that Avery is also potentially very powerful. Would remove Ace Squawk ability from play, which is probably something you want to have. However, you could counter catcher before you Avery, and that would also be a pretty powerful play, because anything that Douglas would discard would be pretty valuable, even the Hisuian Electrode V at that point.
The last refinement of the turn for Farleib here. Does not really find what he is looking for, but already has that Ultra Ball in hand, so I guess the counter catcher here would have been pretty great.
I'm surprised that Fog Crystal didn't get played to thin the Ralt as well first. Definitely think that would have been, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see it. I just would have loved to see it before we started drawing a bunch of cards. But yeah, Gardevoir EX will be established, and I think you can easily attack with it this turn. It feels like it should be pretty safe, and that's one way you can compensate for this early aggression. If you attack and then your opponent has no way to take a return KO, that's really powerful. However, we see the Gardevoir EX get evolved on the bench, and we're going to see some Screamtail action, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, Screamtail is a way to take down that Squawkabilly EX on the bench this turn. We're going to use that Roaring Scream with 8 damage counters on it. Does 160 damage, and that's exactly enough to take down that Pokemon.
So many cards being played, so much shuffling from Farleib. And that's what Gardevoir does, right? Gardevoir doing Gardevoir things, getting all those Pokemon out. Feel like every time you draw something new that probably shuffles your deck, and it's very important to make sure you're doing all of that in a timely manner for your own sake and for your opponent's sake as well.
The only awkward part here is having to attach 2 energy with Psychic Embrace to the Curlia. That means 4 damage counters that haven't really done too much, but there's the 4 energy on Screamtail. We could also see a Boss's Orders on something like B-Barrel, bring it to the active, and then take the knockout on Squawkabilly, but no supporter really played for Farleib here.
Yeah, no supporter. I definitely would have loved to see that B-Barrel in the active. You have seen from your opponent that they do play Switch card. You haven't seen any other switching card just yet, but you can't expect too many. So maybe that B-Barrel could be a way to trap something and limit your opponent's options. However, perhaps when you go Iono plus Counter Catcher, that might be a little more powerful. Or you can just go Iono KO the B-Barrel, and that's even better.
And the fact that your opponent is playing 4 Arven, so pretty easy to find something like an escape rope to be able to get out of the active spot. So being paired with an Iono does sound pretty good.
Yep, exactly. Now we are seeing that triple Cloth on the bench. We're going to see small draw with the B-Barrel very soon here, but this is exactly what Farleib wants. He evened up the price trade at this point in time and is only using a single prize Pokemon in the active. So as long as the Gardevoir EX isn't KO'd this turn, next turn Farleib will be able to take the prize advantage.
Here we see the Iono. Both players are going to shuffle their hand, put it to the bottom of the deck, and then draw cards equal to their prize cards.
That doesn't really bother Gardevoir too much, right? With all the refinements and the concealed cards, no Path to a Peak stopping you from drawing extra cards. So Iono is not as effective as you would like it to be in this spot, despite your opponent having taken already 2 prize cards. And we do see the attachment, and we are going to see the retreats into the Cloth without energy.
Well, yeah, you can just take the knockout with the poison damage in between turns.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly what Douglas was planning. You've clearly played this deck more than I have, Jeremy.
I just know how math works.
Okay.
Collapse Stadium is going to get rid of that Hisuian Electrode V, and then all of a sudden, Douglas now turns into a single prize deck here, and Radiant Greninja hits the discard for Farleib.
Yep. No more 2 prize attackers for Douglas. Pretty good play for sure. Very, very good play. And now he is ahead by 1 prize card. His opponent can only take 1 prize card here. And that does signify that as long as Douglas can keep up this prize exchange, they should be ahead. The question is, can they keep that up?
Interesting hand from Farleib here. Has a Ralts, has the Cresselia.
Ooh, okay. Cresselia gets picked up because of the Collapse Stadium. There we go.
Yep.
Now the Cresselia can be benched. With all Psychic Pokemon, that Collapse Stadium might have benefited Farleib, because now you can attach all 6 energies to different Pokemon, or at least 5, clean up the damage on your board, and snipe guess who?
B-Barrel?
Yep, B-Barrel combined with an Iono, right? It's not Screamtail, but it's good enough.
Cresselia being one of those really good attackers against single prize decks in this Gardevoir deck ever since it really came to prominence.
Debating on where to attach, not whether to attach. Well, I guess it was also debating whether to attach, and we're going to see that Iono very well done before the refinement, before the Shining Arcana, limiting Douglas's hand to 3 cards, and then I firmly believe we're going to see the snipe of that B-Barrel.
Well, I believe he already used those abilities. They turned sideways.
Oh yeah, that's true, that's true. I wasn't sure if they were from last turn. Yep. Pretty sure they have not been used. All he did was Iono, and now we're seeing the abilities. Or, I don't know.
Listen, it's important to keep track of your own board state here as well. Looks like it was not used, so here we go, 2 cards. Countercatcher Avery, not a bad combo.
Yep, Countercatcher on that Brute Bonnet, looking very, very good. And I can understand this double check to make sure that the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule does not provide for retreat. That is the Future Booster Energy Capsule. So trapping that Brute Bonnet in the active, which is not an attacking threat, and then utilizing Cresselia to snipe that B-Barrel could be really good, as we see the spread of the energy right here.
And this is the one benefit of having that damage already on the Gardevoir, I guess. Now you can start healing it off with this Moonglow Reverse. Move 2 damage from each of your Pokemon and move it to one of your opponent's Pokemon. That's exactly enough to take the knockout on B-Barrel. No more draw power for Douglas here.
No more B-Barrel, not a lot of switching cards. 2 double turbos gone, as well as we see the poison damage start to stack up, but getting an attack off feels like it's not going to happen this turn for Douglas after such a strong, aggressive start.
Has Beach Court in hand, but that cloth is mighty heavy.
Mighty, mighty heavy. It's gigantic. Have you seen that thing?
Oh, yeah. No, it's insane. All right. And that is game 1 of Farleib Cuba up 1-0 against the unlikely deck of Hisuian Electrode v. Cloth here at LAIC.
Yeah, and I mean, if Douglas had been able to muster a response there or an attack, splitting up your energies the way Farleib did also is like a double-edged sword, because then you might not have enough energies to take down a higher HP Pokemon. Of course, Glove, even with the Bravery Charm attached, only gets to 170 HP, I believe, might be 180, but that's not a big ask for the Gardevoir player. But in other instances, sometimes spreading your energy too thin can lead to your opponent taking advantage of that and you not being able to respond to a much higher HP Pokemon, such as Charizard, or in the mirror match, even a Gardevoir EX. So it's just little things that are important to track down that I'm sure Farleib, sitting here at 301 at the Latin American International Championships, is factoring into his play each and every turn.
It's always interesting to see the small variations in these Gardevoir EX decks, especially with this new set and this new meta that we kind of have been introduced to for this tournament. And the inclusion of the Mew EX, which Brent Tonneson was also a big fan of throughout the last few regionals. And it does put in a lot of work, but against a matchup like this, maybe not so much.
Yeah, certainly. It does feel like Farleib went for a very standard list with his own touch for it, with the Jirachi, the Manaphy, the Mew EX, the Cresselia, the Screamtail, so basically covering all bases and having that versatility of Mew EX, not only as an attacker, but also perhaps if it comes down to a late game and you get Ionode, you are able to utilize that restart ability, which is really fantastic, and I cannot tell you how many times it has bailed me out, Jeremy.
Like 4 times?
No, I literally cannot tell you. Like, I have not been keeping track, but it's a lot.
Pablo's keeping a secret from me, I know. Anytime you're able to draw cards outside of your card for turn, it's gotta be good, right?
Yeah, it's beneficial, and combine that with a powerful attack, that's always fantastic, as we do see Douglas choosing to go second in order to make sure that he can be the aggressor. I wonder if Douglas will try to adapt here and try to set up double B-Barrel to prevent the sort of situation that we saw in the previous game.
Here we see a Fog Crystal from Farleib here. Looks like all 4 Ralts are in the deck. 3 Curlia as well. Mirage Step could be in hand just like last game. It is not?
Seem like it, yeah. So we might be seeing a slightly different game this time around. With no Mirage Step, you really want to make sure you got all 4 Ralts into play, and that's definitely easier said than done, especially when you're not playing a supporter. Starting the Battle VIP pass is never easy. You do play a lot of outs between level balls, between Fog Crystals. I'm not a big fan of that level ball in particular, though. It doesn't seem like Farleib's hand is too good, but we'll go all in on this Mew. Yeah, risking it all to try to find that Battle VIP pass, or maybe a follow-up level ball in order to establish a Curlia.
This is a pretty classic play from Gardevoir players throughout the deck's entire existence, being able to just retreat to this Mew, use Mysterious Tail, hopefully find a Battle VIP pass, if not, like you said, just another Pokemon search to continue the game going. And oh no, Super Rod.
That's not the card you want to see, and this is where that choice of the level ball could be costly, because Farleib will only have 2 Ralts down, no access to Mirage Step, which I'm pretty sure if he did have access to Mirage Step, he would have just kept the level ball. And then whichever Ralts you knock out, I'll just use the other one to make sure that I can establish my Mirage Step. However, with no energy, that also could have been a little dicey, so we might be going for the restart here.
All right, Pablo, I got some bad news for you. Got a quick look at the prizes. Douglas, 2 Hisuian Electrode V, 2 Cloth, B-Barrel, and Radiant Hisuian Sneasler.
Oh,
that's 6 Pokemon in the prize cards.
That's 6 Pokemon in the prize cards. That's incredible. What are the chances? Yep,
like,
Douglas.
where are all my Pokemon?
Yep. I mean, does have a Hisuian Electrode to find those, but the attackers, right, the other Hisuian electrodes, the other gloves are actually in the middle and the top row, so accessing those could be a little dicey. However, you don't expect a big threat from Farleib next turn at the very least.
It actually might be a little beneficial here. You can use Luminion V, Luminous Sign, grab an Arven. Arven can find you 4 Sealstone, Escape Rope. Escape Rope can bring up a Ralts to take the knockout.
Well, I mean, but you also need the Brute Bonnet and the Tool card.
Oh no, there's
though.
the Spicy Season Curry.
Oh, the Spicy Season Curry. There you go. See, it's such an uncommon card in decks. I did not recognize it from this view. And that's exactly what it's going for.
I love a good curry, so anytime I see it, I know what it is.
Yeah, we do see the Escape Rope. So one of the 2 Ralts going down and with no Marastep. That's going to be very problematic as we do see the prizes, which are quite something. Yeah, it's not very common for you to see 6 of the same type of anything in the prize cards, right?
Now Luminion V gets the 4 Sealstone attached to it. Spicy Season Curry. Hisuian Electrode V is burned, and then you heal 50 damage. We just want the burn.
We just want the burn, and you actually want to flip tails so that the burn doesn't go away potentially for the upcoming turns. And there's a tails flip, yeah? One of the few instances where you're very happy to see a tails flip.
I'm still never happy. Artisan found 4. Farleib here will be able to find another Waltz, thin the deck out before something like that Mysterious Tail.
I would not be surprised to see playing a lot of the cards down to be able to restart for a couple of cards. You really need to find, or at least get close to an Iono. You really want to find a Curly as well, or at least a Level Ball. And drawing cards first before you use Muse Mysterious Tail could actually let you dig a little bit deeper into the deck. If you draw 1 or 2 cards and then Mysterious Tail, you're looking at the top 7 or 8 cards, which is definitely a little bit better than the top 6. However, valuing not benching that 2 prize liability straight into the Mysterious Tail.
For me also, the grab of the Super Rod on the turn prior just is another card in your hand to clog up that restart. But is that a fail off the Mysterious Tail?
There was a Battle VIP pass, just you definitely don't want that when I think we're going to see the restart for New EX. It's going to be for 2 if the Boss's Orders gets played, as a Stadium has already been played this turn. You can see the shuffle of the Ralts. I would not be surprised to see a Boss's Orders onto that Brute Bonnet, which does have that hefty triple retreat cost.
Boss's Orders would also get rid of that burn from Hisuian Electrode V, so Douglas would need to figure out another way to get in an act spot and get another special condition on it before you start taking prizes yet again.
Now, there is a chance that Douglas could just flip heads, right? And then the burn would go away, but this is definitely the surefire way for that to happen. And gonna choose Luminion, interestingly enough, instead of Brute Bonnet. And I mean, if you expect your opponent to only be playing 4 double turbo energy, it's still pretty hard to retreat that Luminion. So, and there is a benefit to, like, if your opponent has a double turbo and chooses to use that instead, that's 1 less resource they have for the eventual clubs. But things are not looking good for the Gardevoir player here.
Farleib just passes the turn back, energy attached to that Ralts on the bench. And Douglas has that B-Barrel, able to try to draw in some cards here. Going to start with the Artisan, though.
Yep, getting that 1 cloth that's available in the deck. Or, no, there's 2 cloths actually available in the deck. 2 are priced, 2 are available. And we're looking for energy, we're looking for a switch card, we're looking for an escape rope. I do think, even if you're only going to B-Barrel for 1, I think you do want to do that first to give yourself the chance at finding an Arven, right? It's low, but what if you do, right? What if you do find the Arven? Then you can play that to guarantee the switching card and the tool card for Brute Bonnet itself, rather than relying on the quote marks luck of the top 5 cards of Colruy's Experiment or the next 5 cards of Iono, which you know your opponent's hand is not great, so probably not the supporter you want to play. As we see the B-Barrel.
eyeing it down Colress's experiment now. Now, this has been a supporter that has snuck its way into a lot of decks that don't really utilize the Lost Zone. Looks at the top 5, put 3 of them in your hand, the other cards in the Lost Zone. It's more just the fact that you get to make extra decisions. You get to see more cards. And a lot of the times in certain matchups, there's cards you don't even need.
Yeah, for sure. Those 2 research, there's definitely times where you can get away with by not playing, and Douglas found exactly what he wanted, a way to switch out this Luminion, the ancient booster energy capsule, in order to poison that Mew and get another KO with either Clough or Electrode. Now he can choose.
The switch card does bring up the Clough with that double turbo energy. So with Unhinged Scissors, we'll be able to take the knockout after that Brute Bonnet poisons both actives. Douglas now down to 4 prize cards, but we have seen this time and time again against Gardevoir. Me, unfortunately, as well. It is very good at mounting a comeback.
Indeed. However, when you have a Jirachi, you have a Collapse Stadium, and a Super Rod, it's going to get really, really difficult. Now, Douglas did choose to save Douglas chose the switch card over the Beach Court, which I was very surprised because your opponent is already struggling to do anything at all. If you keep the Beach Court instead of the switch card, you essentially get the same effect. Yes, you give your opponent free retreat, which they already have access to with the Mew EX, but you remove the resource of the Artisan, preventing them from getting more basic Pokemon out, as Farleib struggling to get something going here and will rely on that restart once again to get going.
That is the second Super Rod, and that's also the last Super Rod for Farleib here. Plays down that Jirachi and restarts for 2. Manaphy, Reversal Energy, those are not going to do it. And honestly, I think we need to go to a game 3 maybe.
I think this is the perfect opportunity to be like, you know what? It's time for game 3. I'm not getting anywhere. And like, if you start attacking when your opponent has 3 prize cards left, there's still time to be able to do it, but it's not looking great, right? There's not even a Kirlia in play, no way to find a Kirlia. Didn't choose to get rid of the Artisan in order to draw an extra card with that Collapse Stadium. Not sure why we're holding on to that so much. Would have lost the Screamtail instead of if you discard the Jirachi, or vice versa, right? But it's an extra card. What if the next card is Iono? What if the next card is Avery? Yeah, both good cards to find. And now Douglas, who was running low on the attackers, slowly but surely getting to those extra Cloughs and getting to those extra Hisuian Electrode Vs in the prize cards.
And with each prize card you take, more Pokemon are going to get added to the hand for Douglas here. Does find a Clough with Ultra Ball.
Douglas is holding up Boss's orders, so can definitely take something down that's better than this Jirachi. Mew EX does have fighting resistance, so would not have been able to take that down, but Mew EX is really not a threat, right? So taking down that Ralts, getting ahead, and denying resource. Now, imagine if the Artisan had not been in play. There would be only 1 Ralts remaining for his opponent as we finally see the Artisan get countered.
Town Store here going to search for 4 Seal Stone. Already has used the V-Star for the games. Just thinning the deck out a little bit, like as you can.
Yeah, now that 4 Seal Stone does guarantee that at any point, Douglas can probably go after the Mew EX to close out the game. Very, very close to tying this up, and time's running out, so I would really like to see Farleib be like, you know what, as long as I set up, I probably have an advantage. I should give myself enough time to set myself up and get that win. But I mean, we did see Tord Reckless win from an almost unwinnable position, so maybe Farleib inspired by that and trying to make this incredible, almost impossible, yet not quite comeback.
Does look like we're switching a sleeve real quick here.
Yep, broken sleeve, make sure everything is in order. Always important to keep spare sleeves around just in case.
Town Store helping out Farleib a little bit, finding that luxurious cape. Just having it in the hand, just in case.
Finally see the first Kirlia hit the board on turn 4, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's not doing very well. Radiant Greninja will discard that reversal energy and just finally has an Ultra Ball here, but is forced to discard an energy. And yeah, it's
Finally, we see the scoop. Yep. Could have found another Kirlia, could have drawn 2 more cards, but the writing was on the wall. Especially with that Forest Seal Stone down, there was definitely a Kirlia going down next turn as well.
well, no, he already used the V-Star on turn 1.
Did?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true for the Arvin. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
Completely
still,
forgot
just
about that. There was a boss in hand as well. So.
yeah, a very advantageous position for Douglas there. And now going into a game of 3 where does Farleib choose to go second as Gardevoir? Is that ever a possibility?
I feel like you definitely do, because you know your opponent's deck is very aggressive, and then you give yourself the possibility to have a stable setup, not only by the cards you draw, but also by potentially the supporter you play. And 3 copies of Iono, 2 copies of Avery, definitely cutting a few corners in order to fit the Manaphy, Jirachi, Mew-EX, Cresselia, everyone, but it got him on game 1.
Yep, this is a replay of game 2 here, and it is just not much of anything for Farleib. Douglas was able to get that turn 1 knockout going second, has the switch card found, takes another knockout on Mew, and again, just teleportation burst, not able to do much against the Cloth, and then another knockout after that boss's orders. And that sealed up game 2 for Douglas here. Hoping to have kind of a repeat of how that game went in game 3. Meanwhile, Farleib hoping to find another Mirage Step maybe. That Mirage Step game 1 was definitely insane.
Yeah, the Mirage Step being prized definitely dictated that game 2 and how it went for Farleib. No access to Kirlias. I do feel like the Mew play was a little greedy in a way, and instead of just guaranteeing the extra 2 cards. But here we are, game 3, 15 minutes left in what is a battle of, I would say, like, they're not single price decks, but they are heavily focused on single price Pokemon.
Yeah.
Douglas has that focus on Hisuian Electro V, does have the Squawkabilly and Lumineon V liabilities, if you will. However, does play Collapse Stadium to make sure that they're limited. So you could see a Cloth on Shiny Arcana battle. That might take a little bit more than 15 minutes to finish out.
Taking a look at the prize cards there, not too bad. It'll be interesting to see which player is going first here. And wow, yeah, it does look like Douglas is going up first. Farleib opted to go second here. I'm going to start things off with an Ultra Ball, discard Zinnia's Resolve, and I believe another supporter.
Yep, because we do need to reset those prices. We will start looking at what is in the deck, what is available. No more 6 Pokemon being prized, which is fantastic. For Douglas, will be able to be aggressive in that way, but I mean, I guess you only need 1 Cloth if your opponent just never attacks you, right? No need for all 4. Some sort of discussion happening at the table, so we'll figure out exactly what's happening very, very soon. Douglas was in the middle of a deck search with the Ultra Ball. I don't see the cards for the Ultra Ball. I don't know where they went.
Either, yeah. Not again, Pablo.
Not again, I know. All right, so yeah, I mean, maybe the discard is just off camera. Maybe that has to do with what stopped the play. We'll have to figure that out very soon here for you all.
No, I meant reset the Pokeballs.
All right, so Radiant Greninja start, not the start you want to see. Haven't been able to take a look at Farleib's hand from this angle, but Cloth, yeah, who, be honest, if you are watching, did you expect Cloth to make an appearance? Did you have faith in Cloth? I know a lot of people are big fans of Cloth. It's also a very cool looking Pokemon, just as Bidoof. And yeah, I mean, those unhinged scissors can get pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I just want to shout out my good old friend Drew Benekennett. He's a big cloth fan, and he knew exactly what was going to go on.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the deck was no secret, but the potential of it, right? The combo is there. How you utilize it, how you build your deck list. Have we perfected cloth yet? I'm not so sure.
No, it does look like they are trying to see about something that happened in the previous game, so we'll keep y'all updated. But for right now, sit tight, enjoy the cloth in the active spot, and Bidu just munching on a tree.
What sort of treat? What sort of tree do you think Bidu likes? Do you think Bidu eats curry? I don't see Bidu eating curry.
No. Something to help sharpen those teeth, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Some logs, some... Do you think Bidu could eat Sudowoodo? Bidu does evolve into a water type.
I guess it would have a good matchup against Sudowoodo, yeah.
Although Sudowoodo is not grass type, it is a rock, so perhaps not quite. I mean, it does have the type advantage once it evolves.
You mean fighting?
Oh my gosh, Jeremy. All right, if this were Pokemon School, it would get an F.
Listen, I only know fighting types. I'm a TCG guy, all right?
Fighting, ground, and rock. Do you wish we had more types in the TCG like we do in the video games?
Yeah, rest in peace to Fairy.
Yeah, I love Fairy Pokemon.
Looks like we are back underway. This card is a little off screen, so hopefully we'll get that back on screen for you. But this is the Ultra Ball. Douglas is eyeing down that Hisuian Electrode V. Has a Forest Sealstone in hand, so that could be a good reason why.
Yeah, I guarantee you get any card next turn that you need. Maybe the Bibarel. Actually, Bibarel's already in the hand, so pretty strong start for Douglas. It's not like very overwhelming. They're not getting an attack off immediately, as we have seen in previous games. But we do see the pass. We do have 10 minutes left on the clock, plus whatever I assume they will add a little bit based on this pause we just had. And seems like Farleib's start not that great once again.
Yeah, you could say that again. It's the concealed cards did nothing for Farleib here.
Yeah, reading the Hisuian Electrode V once again, just to double check to see if the Greninja would be possibly going down, or if the Mew-EX is threatened as well. The Mew-EX would require both Poison and Burn for Hisuian Electrode to be able to take the KO on that, and the Self Poison and Burn, not even on the Mew. As we see a defensive boss play to try and delay Douglas's attack. I'm not sure I super agree with that, just because you can retreat Bidoof easily, and Clove, you need the same energy to be able to retreat. You also need the Brute Bonnet to attack. We do see the switch card immediately, but a little bit of hesitation on who to promote. And with the Ultra Ball in hand, that Radiant Greninja could be in trouble here.
Oh, yeah. There's the Industrious Incisors drawing up to 5. Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. It still has access to that Forest Sealstone.
Yep. Can go Ultra Ball for the Brute Bonnet, can Forest Sealstone for the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, and thanks to Radiant Hisuian Sneasler's bonus poison damage, that Greninja would be getting knocked out during Pokemon Checkup with just the right amount.
Lying down what looks like Lumineon V here. Lumineon Code could go ahead and grab that Arven and still do the same play. Grab that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule along with the Nest Ball. Nest Ball grabs the Brute Bonnet, and just like that, 130 damage thanks to that additional poison. As long as that Radiant Hisuian Sneasler comes down.
Indeed. Very important to bench that. You definitely have the bench space for it, as we see it just now, and we see the KO. Very, very nice. Definitely explaining the effects here to make sure that everything is very clear. And we are 1 curry away from Douglas winning this round.
Insane to think about. Farleib has no sign of Ralts anywhere in the hand, just to draw an Avery for the turn.
Yep.
That's just 3 cards.
Yeah, it's just 3 cards. So you gotta be really good cards here for Farleib because we're getting very close. And with the curry guaranteed thanks to the Forest Seal Stone, they need to hit a basic Pokemon right here, right now. Ideally more than 1, and would that even be enough? 1 Ralts found.
Oof, no. I don't think it's going to be enough at all, because with that Forest Seal Stone, you can start Alchemy for a boss's orders. Just take down that Ralts on the very next turn.
Jirachi also found, so not too bad. Energy attachment on the Jirachi is a little funny looking, but nothing in the hand for Farleib. So seems like those 10 minutes could be enough.
Going to use the charge energy attack to thin the deck out a little bit. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards, put them in your hand. Not really what the Jirachi is used for here, but you got to thin this deck out just so you can draw the cards you actually want to draw.
Yeah, maximize your chance of hitting even the Mirage Step. If you hit the Mirage Step here, that might save you, but in a very dicey situation here for Farleib. And I feel like Douglas has a very easy and clean play of Forest Seal Stone for boss. Knock out that 1 Ralts. What do you do from there?
Try to find more Ralts, but it's not going to be good.
There's a fly. Why is there a fly? Why does it follow us, Jeremy?
It's the same one.
I know.
All right, Nest Ball grabs a second cloth here. Just thinning the hand out so you can get the most out of your Industrious Incisors. As the town store.
Looking for a Bravery Charm. Make that cloth a little bit sturdier. Hasn't used the Forest Seal Stone yet. We're definitely going to draw cards first with Bibarel. If you find the boss, you get to save that Forest Seal Stone. But I don't foresee any situation where that Ralts lives beyond this turn.
From the 5 here, a couple supporters, Arvin, Iono, but not the one you really need. So Star Alchemy finds that boss's orders. Boss's order is going to be used to bring up that lone Ralts on Farleib's side of the board. And this is not looking good for the Gardevoir player.
Indeed. Very strong start here for Douglas. Incredibly weak start for Farleib. Not even Mirage Step. Kirlia can save you now. Down to this top deck. What is it? A Battle VIP pass. rough day for Farleib. Just not working out for him at this point in time.
Not at all. Going to town store here. It's not really going to do much. I think the 1 tool is already in the hand in Luxurious Cape.
Yep, already there. So nothing else to search for really. Just double checking what's left in the deck. Could counter a Stadium. Could search for more energies with the attack. Will collapse Stadium to remove that resource for Douglas. Trying to get somewhere with the restart, but just not going to happen. And then after you use Jirachi's attack, less of a chance that you actually use restart. That charge energy attack, that was definitely not on my bingo card either to see being utilized on stream twice.
Yeah, me either. It's definitely Douglas's game to lose here, already having a ton of pressure. And the fact that your opponent just does not have a board at all.
Indeed, I would love to see Douglas just be more aggressive and just call the attack.
Yeah.
No need to play extra cards. No need to use up any more seconds than you need to. Just make sure you're 2 attacks away from winning this round in what looks to be a very tight game. Just get there. Yeah, what are we thinking about? We need to attack. Maybe set up the second Bibarel, sure, right? Play extra safe, but try to do it a little bit more quickly so I have enough time to secure this match.
Ultra Ball and Forest Seal Stone were the cards grabbed with the Arvin, and they're going straight to the discard along with Nest Ball to find that second B-Barrel like you were saying, or not, just failing the search
Dealing.
For Ultra Ball still does need a shuffle though, so just trying to get cards out of the hand for Industrious Incisors. I guess the one thing you're looking for is just some double turbo energies just in case.
Yeah, I mean, the other reroll is priced, I just noticed, so that's the reason why it's not being played. We're going to see a Hisuian Heavy Ball as well, so lots of actions that are eating up valuable seconds. I mean, with 3 prizes down and a Mew EX in play, you can win if you get to time and you get those extra turns, right? So it's still looking good, but what better way than to have even more turns available?
And I don't believe Douglas actually revealed the Hisuian Electrode V with that Heavy Ball, just put it face down, so
yeah, we
wouldn't need to get to reveal it, but we do know it was a basic Pokemon, it was a legal target.
Yep, just needs to be revealed to his opponent whenever they have a chance. Mew top deck, we're gonna see a Mysterious Tail. So Farleib, honestly, living by the top decks, but I don't think, like, Gardevoir is good at making comebacks, but it's not this good.
Not at all. Mysterious Tail does find a level ball here.
And an Ultra Ball. So could go for the Ultra Ball in order to thin the hand. Chooses to go for the level ball, however. Establish 1 Ralts, but 1 Ralts at a time is not going to get us anywhere.
Was there a possibility to find the memory skip Ralts and just start using that?
I mean, sure, that's actually pretty viable. Douglas's hand is pretty big, so you'd expect him to have access to his switch cards and his escape ropes. He did burn a Arven last turn, but we do see him holding one of those escape ropes. Now, the issue here is, as mentioned with the time and whatnot, now there's 2 single price Pokemon that will probably be promoted before the Mew EX, so it's going to be at least 3 more turns before Douglas can probably win this game, and the clock is ticking, Jeremy. The clock is ticking.
Just under 4 minutes to go in this match, but Escape Rope will force Farleib to make a tough choice. Does bring up the Mew EX, and with this, it's probably going to be over.
Yeah, we do see the Spicy Curry. We do see that available. So for the first time on stream, I believe, we're going to see that Spicy Curry get played, burn.
Don't forget to heal off the
heal.
50.
Yep, we need to heal the damage on that Hisuian Electrode B. That's one of the benefits of beating the Curry, right? You burn yourself, but you get full in the belly, therefore you're healthier.
Yeah. And with that Brute Bonnet, poisoning both actives, the Hisuian Electrode V is dealing 200 damage.
Baiting an Iono. I feel like Iono would not be a good idea here. You've seen Farleib do nothing for so long. So I don't think healing that damage is going to be too important, but it could be. You know, we could see a Rare Candy Gardevoir, and we need to heal that 50 damage from the Spicy Curry. There we go. We're finally
so 10
doing
damage,
it.
then 20 with the poison, and then 20 with the burn.
Right,
I think it should be at 40, but it's all right.
All right, now we have the Mew. Douglas down to 1 prize card remaining. Can Farleib stall this out somehow? Like, can he prevent the loss? There's no more high HP Pokemon. Everything gets taken down by Hisuian Electrode, other than, I guess, a Rare Candy Gardevoir, and then you get return KO, but then Brute Bonnet just poisons the Clough, and Clough will do enough damage to knock out that Gardevoir. So I think the writing's on the wall, and Clough will come out victorious from this match.
Yeah, Countercatcher is in the prize cards, so just one way to bring up that B-Barrel, and Hope and Pray with an Iono is not available. Here we're seeing Ultra Ball eyeing down a Shining Arcana Gardevoir. Farleib does have a Rare Candy in hand.
Yep, so that could be the way to go here. Did promote the Mew, so we'll need to attach in order to retreat, but game is on board, right? Farleib could Iono down to 1 and somehow play a stadium that would prevent B-Barrel, which does not exist, and Douglas still already has the win in his hand. We see another Rare Candy for good measure, and I think that's going to be it, Jeremy.
Yeah. Still got the Shining Arcana. And with the math, the reversal energy should take the knockout.
Yep.
It would still burned, right?
Yeah, it's still burned and the poison, right? 150 damage plus 50, that's 200, plus the 10 from poison. Don't even need the burn. That will be a knockout. And ooh, the Luxurious Escape will actually allow Gardevoir to survive this hit by Cloth. So perhaps counting on Douglas getting a little bit ahead of himself. We need to promote before time runs out. Otherwise, Douglas will be turn 1 rather than turn 0.
Oh no. 3 seconds to go. Come on, Douglas. Draw your card.
All right. No. So time, as long as the timer is accurate, time has run out now, and therefore there will be no turn 0. Douglas will be turn 1, Farleib will be turn 2, and Douglas will be turn 3. So I guess in the end it works out for Douglas regardless, but this is what I was talking about. That turn that took 2 or 3 minutes, when you could have just gone draw, poison yourself, attack, KO, all those extra actions, that's an extra 1 or 2 turns right now to just make sure you can get that last prize card, which Douglas cannot accomplish right this instant. Can maybe get there, does require a way to retreat, a spicy seasoned curry, all of those good things. Yeah, so it is possible, just not very likely with what we have right now.
Douglas does promote that Cloth with that Bravery Charm. Does have that second B barrel along with the double turbo energy, so we'll be able to attack at least.
Like that attachment. You don't need to win this turn. You have 2 more turns, but if our Farleib is able to evolve once again, they are holding a rare candy in their hand, so I love this Iono. Try and prevent from there being a high HP Gardevoir EX. That's the one Pokemon standing between Douglas and a victory this round.
Off the Iono, Farley's hand doesn't look too good. A few Pokemon search cards, but something like Fog Crystal, Level Ball, not really what you're looking for right now. I guess it was Battle VIP, that's not level. That's even worse.
Double Spicy Season Curry, I believe, in hand. So debating on how to approach this. Still has the B-Barrels to be utilized. Does have a switch card as well. So could deal 230 damage with Hisuian Electrode instead of 170 with Cloth plus the poison. That's plus the burn. That's up to 200. Oh no, the burn itself. It's not to Gardevoir. So 210 damage incoming. We do see the boss's orders for next turn. So if there's no Iono, the writing's on the wall on that Mew. But there could be an Iono with double B-Barrel. You don't mind that too much, but that's one of the reasons why like you draw the boss and you're like, dang, if now they Iono me, I lose that resource.
Yeah, it goes straight to the bottom of the deck. There is 3 copies in the list. Douglas has been using them throughout this entire game to target down those Ralts. And there's the heads. No more burn for Hisuian Electrode V.
When was the last time we saw the burn and poison markers utilized? Like, I don't ever recall seeing the burn markers utilized on stream.
Well, listen, one of my favorite decks, Galarian Wheezing Eternatus VMAX, used poison a lot.
Yeah, poison for sure, but
not
burn.
with the burn, yeah.
When was the last time we saw burn?
Well, I mean, a classic of poison and burn is the Flareon Ariados back forever
back
ago.
in 2006?
Yeah.
When streams did not exist. Yeah, so that Luxurious Escape giving a little bit of life to Farleib. This is their last turn, so it's quite impossible for them to win this game. Their one salvation is Rare Candy Gardevoir EX, promote that, and hope Douglas cannot deal with that massive 310 HP. We do know Douglas has that boss's orders in hand, though we do see an Iono. Getting Rare Candy plus Gardevoir EX, not an easy task. 1 Rare Candy is down. We only played 2 copies of Gardevoir EX, so can that happen for Farleib? And then Douglas still has that extra turn to find the boss's orders. However, there's the card you were talking about, Jeremy.
Yep. energy on that Ralts. Memory Skip is a way to kind of just prevent Douglas from attacking for a turn. There's the Lost Vacuum getting rid of that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Yeah, no more easy poison. So Douglas now, if the first attack of Electrode gets memory skipped, now they need to find a way to switch out that Electrode. So a double turbo, a Beach Cord, all those options will be fine. But they also need to find the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule that was just removed by that Lost Vacuum that we just played.
I'm not sure if I like the Artisan here because it gives Douglas an out to shuffle the deck to put that boss's orders back in range of drawing with those Industrious Incisors.
Yep, that is very, very true. An important thing to note, I mean, Farleib has no way to know that the boss's orders is available already, or was available in the hand, to see the Iono down to 1, so it does benefit Douglas, but when you're not playing with perfect information like we sort of are for the most part, that card thinning the Ralts increases your chances a little bit of the Rare Candy Gardevoir EX. I feel like Rare Candy Gardevoir EX is even better than Memory Skip. It takes away a lot of the outs. It's not just any switching card, any stadium, even any energy, right? Oh, we're having a little bit of discussion here, just double checking.
I think Farley was asking if the Ralts was just come into play this turn or not. I don't believe so. It was already in play the previous turn.
Yep, it's the other Ralts that was just played this turn. So no Rare Candy Gardevoir. We're gonna see the Memory Skip denying Electrode of these Tantrum Blast. And it's up to Douglas to find not only an energy, a way to self-poison.
Well, Colress's Experiment off the top, along with the boss's orders in hand. Oof.
Right. We got a, Artisan first, thin the deck. However, now that you need the tool card, right, which there are two at the very top, now that you need the tool card, maybe I didn't want to shuffle, right? Because you know the cards at the bottom are not the tool card. There is an energy at the bottom, so Douglas might have been considering that, but I mean, there are plenty of combinations and outs, right? And Arvin.
2 energy escape rope, Arvin. Those are all outs here.
Yeah. The tool card is the difficult piece, though. Escape rope is not good enough at this point in time. We need that tool card. That's the difficult card to find here. There's plenty of ways to get that Electrode out of the active spot, but we need to find an Arvin or the tool card, and we have double Industrious Incisors, and we have potentially Colress along with Arvin to pull this off. So
there's also Spicy Season Curry. Be able to.
Yep, but you still need an energy, right?
Yeah.
So you need a combination. There's one of the pieces.
And the Arvin as well. So this should lock it up for Douglas here.
No Arvin.
Oh, it was Iona. Okay, it's a little bit different.
So that was the first B-Barrel used. There is another one available. No bench space for that glove, so at max it's going to be an Iono, a B-Barrel for 1, and Iono to 1 for yourself, and then B-Barrel 4 is 1 less card total than if you B-Barrel into the Colress, so definitely not, we don't want to do that. And there we go, Brute Bonnet off the top. We need an energy, we need a switch card, we need an escape rope. Any of those will do the trick, Jeremy. Do we find them?
5 cards off the top. There's the energy. And with that, Douglas Borges wins round 5 up against Gardevoir with Cloth Pursuing Electrode V. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? A lot of players probably, right? It is a deck that was being seen in the online tournament scene heading into LAIC, but I think most of us, or most people, including myself, thought of it more of as a meme, right? Like, Cloth is just such a goofy Pokemon. Like, who can take Cloth seriously? Well, now we all have to.
Yeah, now we all have to. It reminds me of another deck where people just thought it was a joke and not really that good. Regigigas.
Oh, well, I mean, I was #1 Regigigas believer. I played it at the World Championships. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes these cards can definitely surprise us, right? And Clough certainly has, but I do feel like Hisuian Electrode V was the star of the show, right? Hisuian Electrode V does do that little bit extra damage to that Mew EX that was able to seal the deal in this match.
Yeah, that you saw that turn 1 knockout thanks to that. This Radiant Hisuian Sneasel along with the Brute Bonnet and that Hisuian Electrode V. And then, of course, once you start taking those knockouts, they just keep rolling, especially if your opponent is not able to get the namesake card set up for his deck in that Gardevoir EX.
I do have to give Farleib props. They did make it as difficult as possible for Douglas to win that game on the last turn. And that's sometimes what you need to do, right? In order to get that little bit of extra point from the round, make sure your opponent requires as many cards as possible in order to actually beat you. And that Luxurious Escape, which was in Farleib's hand the whole time, ended up almost allowing him to squeak out with a tie instead of with a loss. But Douglas also sequenced perfectly, found their outs, knew what they were doing, and were able to win off of that Colress.
And this is why the card is in the deck, just more ways to try to just draw off the top of the deck, especially when it's so thin towards the end of the game. Double Turbo Energy was the card found, retreated, and able to take the victory there. It could be well positioned. I think out of a lot of the decks, Hisuian Electrode v Clough has a pretty good Gardevoir matchup.
Yeah, it seems like it's decent, and then you have the grass typing of Hisuian Electrode V for Roaring Moon and Charizard. You have the fighting typing as well against potential Arceus V-Star decks, against Raiden, right? And you're a very powerful, sturdy single price Pokemon, so I think we gotta respect Clough a little bit more, or at least I do.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely start testing against Clough, because I feel like after the showing, it's gonna get a little bit more popular, and I would not be surprised to see a few up in day 2.
And be sure to follow our channels, Pokemon TCG on Twitch and Pokemon on YouTube.com, so you can stay tuned for all the other tournaments we have going on throughout the season, not just LAIC.
Feels like the season is just beginning, right? We're maybe a third of the way on our way to Worlds. Still plenty more Pokemon to be played all over the world too.
Yep. Good dance next weekend in Poland.
And Melbourne, I believe, in Australia.
And Melbourne. Oof.
Yeah,
All
double event next weekend.
And I'm sure everyone playing in those events are going to be glued to the screen for this weekend, trying to figure out how this format's actually going to shape up.
Yep, I'm pretty sure. We mentioned how LAC will be the trendsetter. Yeah, Clough stocks just went really high after this game. I'm a fan.
Listen, I already forgot to buy my Hisuian Electro keys, and they already went up like 500%. So
yeah,
we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, get your Hisuian Electrode Vs now. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, Shay will do the predictions of Gardevoir winning the entire event, but for this, cards will go up in price. That's basically my my prediction.
All right. Clough, I was not expecting it. I genuinely was not expecting it.
Well, I think a lot of the players here too aren't also expecting it. Hisuian Electrode V was read multiple times during that match. Just like, free attack?
Free attack, yeah. It had been a long time since we saw those free attacks for sure. Like, I think they were first introduced, and once again, I'm showing how old I am, in the Diamond and Pearl series. I think that was the first time where we saw the